Right, everyone, welcome along to another edition of Championship Drill. We seem to be firing them out at the moment. I suppose the games are coming all over the place. A bit of a relaxer, though, I think, after this weekend is over. Games won't be flying in as much as we come towards the next international break in a few weeks' time, isn't it?
Yeah. Early March, I think.
Big times for Stephen Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
So I suppose we'll start off with I suppose the big news after the game that we'll come to later was Bournemouth got rid of their manager after a horrific run of form.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Lads, when I see Woodgate coming in, I automatically said to myself, something's going to happen here.
Yeah.
And I was right. He's appointed caretaker manager or whatever, but it's it's there. I think it was the wrong call, lads. Wrong call. They've been great all season. I know they've been on a bit of a bad run, but they've been really good. They've brought in some good players. I'm sure.
Long recently.
Yeah. I mean, they're on like you said, they're on a bad run. But yeah, that whole Woodgate thing was strange because we talked about it during the week where he came in as a coach, and then the manager is gone the next day, I think.
Yeah.
It just reminded me. It reminded me of that time. Like obviously, Gerard Houllier now is a different man to Jonathan Woodgate. Like he's an absolute legend. But like when Houllier came in to manage with Roy Evans, it was similar to that. Like you just knew that because Woodgate was at Middlesbrough and he was the manager. Yeah, obviously got sacked. That like, there's something fishy about this. Like,
I know we get to the game later, but the first goal was comical.
Yeah, was there.
But
I reckon Eddie Howe could come back.
You think he will?
Yeah, he could.
I don't think he'll touch it. He'll stay away.
I mean, he's stayed there for so long.
I don't know who goes there. That's the thing.
Well, one of the favourites is Frank Lampard to step in after leaving Chelsea.
He knows the league. He knows the league now with Derby.
The league with Derby. He'd be going into a team that are, possibly going to go up into the Premier League. It's not too far from where he lives.
Yeah.
You wonder though. It's obviously it's easy for me to say it's a step down having been a manager at Chelsea, but yet again Lampard was wrongly sacked at Chelsea. And when Chelsea start winning games, then they'll all forget about Lampard because the new manager is great because he's winning games. But if I was Lampard, I'd stick around another while. I'd hold tough another couple of months. And all they like get back into the routine and they like getting out of the house and having that routine. But if I was to manage a championship club, then it would be Bournemouth. You know what I mean? But it's just
they're going to come up.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're I'd say they'll have to go through the playoffs with the run they're on. But the other thing is, as well, is Celtic still haven't sacked their manager, and everyone probably knows that's going to happen at some stage, probably at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So are these guys hanging around thinking that's the job I want?
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the whole Celtic thing, it's mental. I reckon Rafa will end up at Celtic because Rafa's a family man and he's passionate. Like, and he's kind of very he's open to opportunity. Like, I think Lampard, as I said, I think he'll be back in the Premier League, lads. I really do. I think he'll. It's a shit like West Ham and all these teams are doing so well this season. Aston Villa, like Sheffield United, are kind of struggling. But like, if Lampard holds tough, there will be a Premier League team that will come in for him. But look. If Bournemouth go up, if he takes the gamble and brings them up, he's back in the Premier League. He's a great manager, lads, and I think, yet again, it was harsh he was sacked. 100%.
Do you think Woodgate has a chance of staying there? Or is he really only going to be temporary?
Very temporary. He almost relegated Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, obviously they see something with Woodgate. There's obviously something they see. Obviously he's highly regarded with his badges and stuff.
He's probably really good as a coach, like as a defensive coach.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see. I mean, if he goes out and he's in charge for like 3 games and they win them all 8-0, like they're not going to get rid of him. So
always happens. And then he'll sign the contract, then Stephen, they start losing again.
That's what usually ends up happening, isn't it?
That's it.
So we'll have a quick look ahead to the big game tonight, Swansea Norwich, because it's first against third now because, like we said, we'll come to it later. Bournemouth win, they went up into. Or Brentford win, rather, they went up into second. It's kind of one where if it was like 6 weeks ago, you'd have said Norwich would have a great chance.
Yeah, Norwich on very bad form.
But yeah, they've scored, I think, 6 goals in their last 7 games. They haven't scored in 3.
Yeah.
Swansea have only left 15 in all season. They've quietly had the best defence in the league.
It'll be 3-all.
You know, probably end up being 3-all. Beneda is missing again because he got a 2-game ban. So this will be his second one. He'll be a miss for Norwich. Norton, I think, comes back for Swansea after his suspension. Whether or not he'll go into the team or not after they had the good win over for Rotherham, I don't know. He might stick with the same team. But it's going to be a really good one for the Friday night game this week.
Yeah,
I'll be watching it. I personally reckon that Swansea will beat them 3-1. I reckon Swansea just have that rhythm, that capacity in the squad's incredible. Like, they're really playing good football. They're coming good at the right time. And as I said, Norwich have been very good. They stick out them 1-0 wins and, you know, they grind. But I think they'll come undone. And I'm going to watch this game. I reckon, personally, Swansea will take this one 3-1.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one because if Swansea win this one, they'll be 2 points behind Norwich with a game in hand. Brentford are behind Norwich with a game in hand. Both those teams win their game in hand, and suddenly Norwich are in 3rd place.
Yeah, it's immense. It's this time of the season is the time that we love, lads. I reckon you're looking at the 3 teams there potentially that will challenge for them top 2 spots. I can't see anyone kind of drift back in. And you know what I mean? Norwich are elite. They're so good, you know what I mean? But it's they're going to have a little dip, I think, and it's going to come in the next week or 2.
Yeah, I mean they've not scored in 3 games. They were flying in goals. Well, they've never been like blowing teams away this season. Really, a lot of 1-0 wins. So it's not like they've been scoring goals all season either.
Yeah.
But against Swansea's defence, which has been so good, it's going to be an interesting one, especially if Norwich do take the lead in this one.
Yeah,
it'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
If Swansea take the lead, you imagine they'll just shut up shop and.
Yeah.
It's
going to be a great game. I'm telling you, it's one of them games on. You know, when you look at the championship fixture, especially Friday night, because we all want to watch something tonight. You know, but it's it's going to be good. I'm telling you, I'm going to put money on it, lads. I'm not a betting man, but I'm going to put a 3-1 win to Swansea.
3-1 to Swansea. There you go. So we'll look back, I suppose, on the games that we just had during the week, and it seems an age ago, even though it really wasn't. So we had the Derby game on Monday Night Football, Watford against QPR. 2-1 win for QPR, which was a bit of a surprise, I suppose, because Watford's home form has been immense. They've 10 wins in 13 games coming into this one, you know, which is amazing form at home. And then you had, like, Sarr was brought down in the box, Deeney with another penalty that he didn't really hit down the middle, but he definitely just blasted it slightly to the side. But QPR looked pretty good. Watford looked a little bit sluggish for some reason at home. The intensity wasn't there. Great goal for Charlie Austin. Willocks cross, really, really nice header. Yeah. And it's first since he rejoined them, which happens to be his 50th for the club. And then Adamoah right at the very, very end with a great control and a really nice finish. Yeah. Big win for QPR, this one. Like, tough for Watford at home, but they weren't great, but they probably didn't deserve to lose it either.
Yeah, it was a draw, I think, fair.
Yeah, what can I say about like QPR? They're a team I love to watch. They're a team that I love, and you know what I mean. They have a great stadium, great fans. They never kind of reach their potential, like, you know.
Yeah.
No, they don't. No. It's just something lacking. Like, they produce great players on their age. They, you know what I mean. They've had some big players over the years. Like, you know, like I remember they signed Charlie Austin back in the day. Obviously, he's gone back, but like, you know what I mean. They were paying good fees for them players. And they just can't get it together. Like, they're losing a lot of games, and you know what I mean. They can lose against the bottom 4 and beat the top 2. Then, like, it's bizarre. There's no real balance there.
Cisse was with them at 1 point.
Yeah, they had some great players. Like, I remember when Harry Redknapp was there and all these players. They brought in some great players, and look, they got relegated. But it's QPR. They're a great team, great club. If they can get in the right manager, like, just say for argument's sake, Sam Allardyce went to QPR, or you had, you know, someone like I don't know, just Eddie Howe, they would really do well there, you know. So they just need to get the right manager in my eyes. I know Holloway was there a while back. He done kind of all right, you know, but it's bizarre. Do you know what I mean? They could be back in the Premier League in 2-3 years if they get the right manager, because they have no problem spending money and they have good players.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, then Watford, Deeney's been scoring a lot of penalties lately. But this is the kind of game where, like you were saying, the other three where we have Norwich, Swansea, and Brentford really, really going well. Like this is going to be a tough one for Watford because this was probably where they saw, well, we'll get 3 points here.
Yeah, and no manager next week.
He's on the way.
Yeah.
He was watching.
You can fall behind those top three very quick.
Yeah.
If they start losing home games, especially.
If they go on a bad run of form, I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
It's a strange one because they've probably got the best squad in the league.
Yeah.
When you think of the players they have in the whole squad.
Yeah.
Norwich have a decent squad. Bournemouth have a good squad, obviously, because they didn't lose a lot of players either. But
I have this weird feeling, Steve, right? I know I'm jumping the gun. I have a feeling that Bournemouth are going to drop out of that top 6.
They could, yeah.
So I reckon, personally, Middlesbrough will be ahead of them. Middlesbrough will go into 6th this weekend.
It could happen easily.
You have them, and you have Blackburn, who are in great form as well, flying up there.
Fantastic.
Suddenly,
Bristol are creeping up.
Yeah. Middlesbrough being kind of just... It's like just as Middlesbrough get to 7th and look like they're going to break in, that's when they have a bad run of form.
And Rotherham will win the rest of the games of the season and get into the playoffs.
Get into the playoffs, Rotherham for the playoffs.
2 games in hand, 26 points.
We move on then. I suppose Tuesday night's games, kind of a mixed bag of games here, really. Millwall 0, Norwich 0. Very, very off day for Norwich.
Yeah.
I
mean, they did have a load of chances, but they just couldn't take them.
They didn't really do very well with the chances they had, Norwich. I think Millwall had better chances in the game. Zahore probably should have scored. He headed one over. Malone, fired late on. And then there was that mad moment with Jed Wallace right at the end.
Yeah.
Did you get to see that? With Tim Krul, I think, took a throw in to try and hurry it up.
Yeah.
And Norwich just made a mess of passing the ball around, and Wallace found himself about 40 yards out with nobody in goal and an open goal, and he couldn't score.
That
would have been. But
Pookie's asleep. I think Pookie's on a different dimension at the moment. Cantwell was taken off. They just look tired. You know what I mean? It's something bizarre, but they look tired.
This was the first game they were missing Beneda for after he got sent off previously, and they'll be missing him again tonight. And him and Cantwell are kind of like a duo together. And I think teams know that when Beneda is not there or when Cantwell's not there, we can put an extra man on one of them and stop Norwich playing. But when they're both there, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So they miss him far more, I think, like when one of the two is missing. And they're struggling. Like you said, Pookie, he's a guy that could get you a goal usually from anywhere. He seems to just be a little bit of off form at the minute, which means he'll probably get a hat-trick now tonight.
Yeah, you keep him in the squad because you know what he can do. That man could score a hat-trick in the Premier League, the Championship, no problem. You always keep him there because he'll always knock in the 10-plus goals. But I just think he needs to step up. He's got it in him. You know what I mean? We've seen it time after time. So, this whole drought, I don't understand. He's an elite player to me when it comes to Championship. When I talk strikers, obviously, you put him up there with Armstrong and many others, like even Ivan Toney. But Pookie's been around the block. And he needs to step up. I know he's up front pretty much on his own, but he's Pookie at the end of the day,
Yeah, very, very good. Millwall then on the other side of things get another point, another good defensive display. They're doing just enough to stay out of the relegation fight at the moment.
Yeah. And they lost Troy Parrott recently.
Yeah, he's gone down a division. Which I suppose I don't think they're going to miss him that much because he really didn't do much for them. I think he won a penalty and that was about it.
Yeah, it's look, if they get the balance right, they'll be fine. You know what I mean? They have a decent defence. We spoke about their defence at the start of the season. They're known to defend, but there's a crack there at the moment.
Yeah.
Like Jed Wallace and Scott Malone and these guys need to do a lot more. And as I said, if they can survive relegation, then well-being, that's great news. But they need a drastic change there. You know what I mean? There needs to be players brought in, players that go, because you look at that squad and it's just not good enough at the moment,
Yeah.
No, they definitely need a goal scorer in there or someone to step up, like you said. We move on then to Bournemouth, the game that ultimately got them sacked, where they lost 2-1 to Sheffield Wednesday. 6th win in 9 games for Wednesday, though, who were in very, very good form.
Yeah.
Callum Peterson,
It was comical.
Terrible. I don't know what happened. Ridiculous kind of pass for 1-2 Peterson. Peterson barely fucking hit the ball, and it somehow went under the goalkeeper.
It looked like he dived over it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It just somehow slipped under him, and it's not like he blasted it. He barely got his foot to it.
Yeah.
It seemed. It was really it was really bad. It's almost like the keeper was expecting him to blast it, and he didn't. So, like you said, it looked like he just jumped over it. And Wednesday deserved it. They were better in the first half. Half time, I think the manager made 3 changes, and Bournemouth were, a lot better in the second half. Sam Sturridge was fouled. Stanislas took the penalty. Danjuma had a real, good effort in the first half, which is all they really had. Brooks had a shot that was saved by Westwood. And then a small bit of controversy, I suppose. Sam Sturridge was true on goal when Dunkley brought him down, and the ref decided it was only a yellow card, even though it looked, to me anyway, like Sturridge was clean through on goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's championship. I love it. Do you know what I mean? It's if you want your entertainment, you watch the championship. We have to give a special mention to Kieran Westwood, lads. Yeah. This guy, he's been under the radar for so long. He's I think he's 35, 36. Yeah. Obviously, we know him from the Irish international days, but great goalkeeper, lads. Great goalkeeper, and he pulled off some great saves in that game as well.
And he is, because, like I said, Rhodes got the winner for Wednesday, and then after that, Linogo had a great. He missed the ball. It was kind of bizarre defending, like it would have just summed up Sheffield Wednesday, the trouble they're in the season, where Leno just missed the ball completely. It fell to Lerma, and Westwood made some great save right at the end. But I have a friend who's a huge Sheffield Wednesday fan. He's season ticket holder. He goes to all their games, obviously not this season. And a few years back when Westwood was kind of first there, he was asking me, how is this guy not playing more for Ireland? Because he'd get to see him week in and week out, and just how good he is. And the new manager's come in, well, kind of caretaker terms anyway, and has put him straight into the team where he wasn't playing all season, and he's rewarded that. Like you said, we know him from the Ireland days, but he's a top class goalkeeper.
Unbelievable. I remember him at Coventry, I think he was at Sunderland as well. Like, elite, fairly rarely messed up. Yep. Tall, always fit, never injured, great reading of the game. Statistically he's done very well, so always under the radar. Like, maybe he wants it that way, but it's great keeper. Like, I would be surprised if Kenny brought him back in. I don't think he's there at the moment, because obviously Queevy and Kelleher's there and Randolph and the lads, but I know he was there last year. But great goalkeeper, lads, always in shape, and I mean a big boy, so it'd be great to see how well he does out for the rest of the season. And if for argument's sake Sheffield Wednesday did get relegated, see who snaps him up, because he's definitely he's definitely got it 100%.
Definitely. We'll move on, I suppose, along the way. Coventry against Nottingham Forest, 2-1 win for Forest here. Big win for them, because they needed to get away from relegation. Because every time they seem like Forest are going to kick on now and get up to 13th, 14th, they draw a few games in a row or something and get dragged back in again. Coventry, though, looked really good in the opening 20 minutes. O'Hare, very good again. Great run. Set up Biamu for the goal, although he still had quite a bit to do. Cut inside well, nice finish. But Forest, I suppose they struck back early, which is always a good thing to do. Amiobi set up Graben for his third of the season. Garner on his debut should have scored. He headed over. Knockhart managed to get free. Nice. He was kind of surrounded by players. Wriggled himself free, but hit the side netting. Then Coventry made a change. Michael Rose came on at halftime for his first game in 8 months. And then Cyrus Christie put in a cross. 8 minutes after he came on, he turned it into his own net. So not the best comeback for him.
Yeah.
And I suppose Coventry did well again near the end, trying to come into it. Biamu, Hammer O'Hare, all going well. De Costa, for them, looked really dangerous. But good win for Forest.
Very good win.
Huge win. And as you said, they're kind of building up that momentum. I love Coventry, that they never give up. I absolutely love them. I think that will keep them up. But great win for Forest and Chris Hughton.
Yeah, they need it.
It is. And you want Forest now to win again, because that's something they haven't really been doing. They've been going unbeaten with a lot of draws at times.
Yeah.
But it's time they put 2 or 3 wins together to really pull themselves clear of relegation.
That's it.
Yeah, it's 12 losses is a lot. Like, you know, they've had 12 losses. I think 7 wins, obviously, and there's probably 7 or 8 draws. But like, it's if Houghton keeps them up, which I believe he will, then you're going to see a different Forest squad next year, lads. That Forest squad will not be the same. I reckon it'll be 4 or 5 changes.
That's it.
That's what we're looking at. And Forest will be exciting next year because he'll raid the Irish League. He'll get a couple of the Irish boys in. Obviously, there might be more of a budget there, but I think the plan was to keep Forest up this season, realistically finish, you know, near the top half, and then next season we'll see a different Forest. And Houghton's the boy to make it happen.
He is. He's done really well because they've been very hard to beat since he's came in, if nothing else. But they just need to get those wins together now to drag themselves safe because the teams at the bottom, some of them are in the best form in the league at the moment. Come on, one of them at the minute, Rotherham, postponed on Tuesday night. Somebody told me it was postponed because Rotherham were afraid to play Colin Kazim Richards, but it was actually for a waterlogged pitch, which they managed to clear. And they played the game on Wednesday instead, which was a strange one, I suppose.
I suppose they had to backlogs.
They had to because of the backlogs, Kazim Richards and Waghorn, good chances early for Derby. And Derby kind of dominated the game in a strange way. But Rotherham looked really, really good from set pieces and every now and then on the break.
Yeah.
You know, Derby's defence has been much, much better recently. They hadn't conceded a goal since January 16th when they lost to Rotherham. But set plays, Robertson and Lindsay had chances from set plays. And in the second half, it was kind of the same. Derby looking good going forward. Rotherham dangerous on set plays. Bird had a shot saved well. And Gregory as well should have put Derby ahead. And the opening goal, though, was just a simple ball, like a diagonal ball that the defence just, for some reason, couldn't deal with. Smith got the flick on. And, that was it. Iweki scored. Smith then got his 6th goal in his last 8 games. And then a nice solo effort from Giles, which was right at the end to make it 3-0.
I think it kind of fell apart after the first goal went in.
They did, and it was kind of a mess. Given how good they've been defensively at the minute, it was a simple diagonal ball they couldn't deal with, and they lost all their shape completely.
What's the new guy playing from? The guy they got off United?
I'm not sure if he made his debut. They've signed 5 players in the transfer window.
Yeah, I know they signed a young fella from Man United, the defender.
He didn't play at all. I kept an eye on that. He wasn't there. No.
Yeah, I think they brought in players very late, so they're probably too late to make this game in terms of they wouldn't have been training enough with the team.
He wasn't in the squad. But like Jason Knight stood out. Like when it comes to Derby, Jason Knight always stands out for me. Great player. Colin Kazim Richards. Yeah, he's been immense.
Yeah, and good for Ireland too.
I didn't think Derby would stay up, but now I actually do.
Yeah, I mean they're in trouble though. I mean there's no doubt about it. We say it all the time that surely they won't go down, but they're in real trouble, and some of that is because of the form that Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham are both in.
Yeah. Like I have no right to say this because I've always, as I say, I'm one of these guys that I'm not going to say stuff because obviously we all dream about being footballers and professionals. Now, I look at that squad, and I just think that Derby squad, it's a shell of what it should be. And I've said it all season. Now, we know the situations with new owners and that and this, but there's only 3 or 4 players that stand out in that squad.
They lose a player to Liverpool recently. A young player.
They might.
They should have loaned him back out, to be honest, but
I suppose Boyle being out injured isn't helping them either. And like you said, Knight not playing because he's been great for them. But a huge win for Rotherham because they're really, really in some form at the minute.
They look good and still have them 2 games in hand, Steve. So that's a huge bonus to have. When you're playing well, you want games in hand, you know.
That's it, exactly.
You do. And like we said, Smith 6 goals in 8 games. We always say in this league you have a chance if you have a goal scorer, and he's hit some form for them. Yeah,
Crooks behind him is immense, and I'm always biased with the Irish lads because we always want to. But like Salier's out and Ogden Benny's out, and we know how good both of them boys are good players. They're really good. So you can only imagine a little spark when they come back. I'm not sure if Ogden Benny's out for the season. I'll probably be back by now, but we'll have to check up and see what is the situation with the injury status.
Yeah.
But you know what? Him coming back would disrupt the team. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't know.
But it's true.
We move over to a team. two teams that are in real trouble. Wycombe, Birmingham, 0-0 in this one. Wycombe now 12 points from safety after this draw, and Birmingham really in trouble as well now because both Wednesday, I think, and Rotherham can go above them if they win their games in hand.
I actually think, I know you love them, but I think Wycombe are gone. Like,
they're in real trouble. But I don't think Wycombe expected anything else. I think had they stayed up, it would have been a bonus.
But as Jerry said, if the fans were there, they would easily have another 8 points.
They would.
Yeah, they would. It's I watch a lot of Vac and Femway on Instagram, and there's definitely positivity there. Like, you know, they've been very unlucky with some of the games they've lost. Very unlucky, but I personally reckon they are going to struggle, and I think Birmingham might go on as well, lads.
They're in real trouble because they're in terrible form.
Yeah.
Etheridge on goal for them made a great save from McPezzo. However, like Alsop in goal for Wycombe. I mean, what a game he had.
Yeah, he's
two great saves from San Jose. And
there was one save that was like, how did he save that?
At the very end, it was Maxime Collins' header from a few yards out.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how he got to it and managed to claw it away. I really don't.
Yeah.
It was one of the saves of the season.
Yeah.
Birmingham, Robert got sent off late on for a foul, but, you know, they had an extra man for about 4 minutes. It wasn't like they were going to do much with it. Yeah. Not a great point for either team, but possibly better for Wycombe after they got hammered by Brentford. To keep a clean sheet was probably a big thing. Yeah.
It's they've been very unlucky, lads. Jesus, you know what I mean? They have fought well this season, but they've been very unlucky. You know what I mean?
They've had a few big calls go against them in games as well, with a couple of goals disallowed for nothing, it seems, at corners, a couple of offside decisions that have been very marginal go against them. They haven't really had that luck that they probably needed to be able to stay in the division.
That's it.
You know, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll get nothing but luck from the rest of the season.
I hope so.
Start getting dodgy. Yeah.
I hope so.
Hopefully. We move on into another game that was kind of a strange one. Brentford, Bristol City, which was the final game midweek. Brentford with the win.
I actually thought Bristol City played pretty well.
Yeah. They did play well. Brentford move up into second. They're now unbeaten in 19 matches.
Yeah.
Had to come from a goal from behind. Vineyard guided home Jack Hunt's free kick after just 3 minutes. Bad goalkeeping then really for the equaliser. Bentley kind of just spilled the ball.
Yeah.
And, from Fossu's shot and Canos was there to level it in. 1-1 at half time, and Brentford, as they do, came out in the second half and just tore them apart for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Tony, who they kept really, really quiet, they did a great job on him, had one real chance in the match and he found the back of the net, and that's kind of his quality. When you have someone like that who only needs the one chance, and he took it. And, got us, tucked one away then as well. When he hit the bar, kind of played 1-2 off the bar to himself. And well scored on 90 minutes to give Bristol kind of hope of a miracle comeback. But it was Bristol, though, they'll be happy, like you said, Phil, with how they played. Brentford just keep on rolling, but Bristol haven't been in great form, but they were much better in this one.
Yeah. It's good to see it, like, them to be playing better because they really, really needed their performance. Yeah, like, this could help now tomorrow, hopefully, to get a result.
Well, that's it. And Brentford just look like they're going up. I mean, they are just, at the moment, they are just scoring goals for fun.
They're the real deal, lads. They are the real deal, like, you know what I mean? Jensen's immense. And even Winston Reid, they cite Winston Reid on loan, I think, but, like, he's a great player, Winston Reid.
Great.
They look good. They play sexy football. And these guys in the Premier League could be very dangerous, you know?
Good. Yeah. And Tony has been unbelievable. I mean, when you think about how bad was it 5-6 games before he got a goal for them?
Yeah.
In all competitions?
Yeah.
It was starting to get a bit worrying. And then out of nowhere, he got the first one, I think a penalty, and he just took off from there. Yeah. And he's been immense. And like I said the other night, he had one real good chance in the game and he took it.
Yeah. He's great. Tony's a big player.
Great player, like that. So we'll have a look ahead to the games there in a second. But what was your favourite goal from these ones?
I think Charlie Austin.
I think Austin too. I like a good header, and he, his 58th goal for QPR.
Nice time in.
Yeah.
I'll go Austin as well. Give him the 50th goal and give him the fact he's a veteran, great player.
Yeah. Your player of the week.
I actually think the keeper, that we were just on about.
Alsop, yeah, I think he had one of the games of his career. Some of the saves he was making.
I'm going to say Jensen at Brentford, lads.
Yeah, Jensen was very good.
Yeah.
Best team?
Rotherham.
Rotherham, yeah.
3-0 Rotherham, yeah.
3-0 to Rotherham as well. And the shock of the week would be QPR away to Watford.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say Forest winning. Forest
winning away. Yeah. Could be either of those, really. So we'll a few quick predictions before we go. We kind of talked about this one already. Swansea Norwich. I think you're both going for the Swansea win.
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah.
I can see this being a score draw maybe. Then Saturday, Coventry home to Watford.
Watford 1-0.
Yeah,
Watford.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a score draw on that as well. A lot of score draws here for me. Barnsley home to Derby.
Barnsley.
Yeah, home win as well, yeah. Bournemouth home to Birmingham. Woodgate's first game.
Yeah, they should win 4-0, but it'll be a draw.
Yeah. I think Bournemouth will win just with the new manager bounce and the fact that Birmingham are terrible. Bristol City home to Cardiff. Good one. This. You think Mick gets the first win?
I think Bristol City, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Bristol City maybe being at home, although I'd like Mick to get that first win. Luton against Huddersfield.
A draw.
Draw on that one. Yeah, I can see that being a draw. Middlesbrough home to Brentford. Good home record.
Another draw.
Another draw. A lot of draws this week. Yeah, it's hard to separate them. I'm going to go for Brentford to keep on rolling though, but maybe the odd goal in 3, maybe a 2-1 win for Brentford. A big game here as well for Sheffield Wednesday away to Millwall.
Another draw.
Another draw.
I'm going to say Wednesday 1-0.
Yeah, I think Wednesday might nick this one as well.
Yeah.
1-0 as well. Preston home to Rotherham.
Preston.
Rotherham.
Yeah. Preston. I'll go down the middle. I'll go for a 0-0 in this one. QPR Blackburn.
QPR
to win at home. Ooh,
yeah.
Big call. Yeah. I think Blackburn are going to win this one. Again, maybe a 2-1 win. I can see goals in that one. What else have we? Stoke Reading.
Stoke.
For Stoke. So I think a classic. I think a classic 1-0 win to Stoke in this one. And then finally a big enough game down at the bottom. Wickham against Nottingham Forest.
Do you know what? I'm going to go with Wickham.
Yeah, a 1-0, 2-1. Yeah. I think Wickham could sneak this one as well, but it's probably the best game Forest could have had if they want to try and get back wins.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So we will leave it there, guys. We'll go away. We're going to go enjoy the match tonight, Swansea and Norwich, and we'll be back on Monday. Well, Sunday, but you'll listen to it on Monday with all the weekend's results and analysis. Perfect. So thanks everyone for listening.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.